My name's Rebecca. I'm one of the family lawyers and family mediator here at Connect Family Law. Parents often struggle with knowing how much to involve their children in the decisions they're making during separation and divorce, particularly around the parenting plan for the kids. It's very important to protect your children from any sort of destructive conflict or triangling them between you and your former spouse. But on the other hand, it's also important that you allow your child to have a voice in decisions that are being made about them. Now, we often talk about voice, not choice, meaning that kids should have their voice heard and considered in decision making, but not be the ones making the choice about where they're going to live or who they're going to live with. It's important that kids know that the parents are the decision makers, but even our international law says that children should have and ought to have a voice in decisions that are made about them. So when you think about that topic, it leads us back to the Family Law Act and the best interest factors. You may have heard that term many times. But when making decisions about kids, you're always looking at what's in the best interest of the children. And one of those factors is the views of the child, if it's appropriate to do so. And that typically means that is the child old enough to have their views heard? The older they are, the more weight it's going to be given to them. The concerns about having a young child give their voice is that they're often just parroting what one parent says to them. Or they may feel very caught in the middle and say one thing to one parent and another to the other parent, the opposite to the other parent. They're not lying, they're just saying what they think that parent wants them to hear. So there's no magic age. Often by the time a child is age 9 or 10, they're mature enough to give their own opinion and have their own voice. Sometimes it might be younger than that, or older, depending on your child's own development. But it is important that you consider how your child's voice is going to be a part of the decisions that you're making when you're walking through separation. So what can you do? First, I would say listen. Remember that it's just important to give your kids a chance to talk. You may not have answers to their questions. It's perfectly fine to say, I don't know, or I need to think about that. But listen to your child and let them process what's going on for them. Seek professional help. There are many therapists, divorce coaches, co-parenting counselors that are out there that are really specifically trained to help you walk through this and help you to hear your children in the midst of the decisions that you're making for them and about them. Another thing you can do, even if you're not in the courts, but you're working through your process through negotiation or in the collaborative process or mediation, you can get a Hear the Child report where there's specific people that interview the child just to get their views on how they feel about where they're going to go to school or how much time they spend in each home. And that person then reports back to the parents. A mediator may even interview a child in that process. If you're in litigation, there's a number of options. There's Hear the Child report, there's the Views of the Child report, two different things because one is publicly funded, one is privately obtained by the parents. There's a full Section 211 reports where both families are also both families are evaluated in the midst of it, as well as getting the child's views. And even in some rare circumstances, a judge will interview a child. So there's lots of options, but the important thing is to understand that the studies show now that when a child feels that they've been heard and their views have been considered in the process of separation, that they actually transition through separation and divorce in a more positive way. So if you want to hear more about or need some assistance in figuring out how to have your child's voice heard while you walk through separation, we'd love to help you with that here at Connect Family Law.